Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we've got a bit of a different one for you guys. I'm gonna be going over someone else's video here. It's gonna be it's gonna be a tier 7 hipper video, okay? I actually am subscribed to his channel and I do watch some of his videos from time to time. Obviously, I've got my own channel and I've got my own stuff to do. But I do occasionally come on here, watch videos from people, and this one right here just got my blood boiling. Now, I don't got any problems against Hipper. I disagree on some of his points of the game, and I agree on some of his points of the game, right? Of World of Warships Legends. I'm not always going to agree with everybody. I'm not always going to, disagree when people disagree or whatever, It's a part of being a human being. I've got my own opinions. He has his own opinions. Everybody's got their own opinions. Just like assholes, we all have one. And just like opinions, we all have one. So, right, it's one of those things. Anyway, I left a dislike on his video. I know, I'm such a bad guy. But it's just something that I have to do because I'm like, bro, what are you talking about battleships being so accurate? That makes zero sense to me. Anywho. I have nothing against Hipper whatsoever, so I'm not gonna, get super deep into that. But I left a comment. I'll get to that in a minute, but let's just watch the video. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it. I don't usually make videos covering other people's videos. It's kind of like a lazy way of doing content, but this one I just have to do, okay? So, let's go and watch it together, shall we?
Heyo, Hipper here. So today we're taking out the Yamato, and this is probably my favorite, well, not probably, it is my favorite legendary battleship. And tier 8's a different thing, that's the Lepanto, but this video here,
Yamato's his favorite battleship. The most easiest battleship to play in the game. Just so you guys are all aware, okay? I'm not a battleship main. Battleships are my most played class, but I don't just play battleships. I play everything pretty equally, okay? If you guys want to get all technical here, I have 6,500 battles in battleships. I've got 6,000 battles in cruisers, and I've got 3,000 battles in destroyers. I've got about 600 battles in carriers, okay? I play everything pretty equally. Carriers are my least played class, but I do know how to play them. I know how to play everything, pretty much, okay? So, this is coming from somebody, essentially, that's not biased towards battleships, okay? I don't just play battleships. I play everything, okay? I've got a lot of battles in battleships. I've got a lot of battles in cruisers. I've got a lot of battles in destroyers, okay? And carriers. Not as much as in carriers, but I have a general idea on how everything works, essentially. So, there's no fucking bias here whatsoever, just to get that clear, okay?
is Yamato. So this is my build. Takagi with Cunningham and Yachino,
so he's running basically a full-on decked-out accuracy build, like I do on my Yamato, like on most of my battleships, because battleships struggle the most in the game in terms of accuracy. Battleships are floating shotguns, alright? You gotta keep this in mind. Battleships struggle the most, okay? So running an accuracy build, a dispersion build, whatever you want to call it, it's the most beneficial because battleships struggle the most in terms of accuracy. It only makes sense. And what's funny is, even when you run a full-on accuracy/dispersion build, RNG plays a major part at the end of the day, and usually what ends up happening is, even with my fully decked-out dispersion build or accuracy build, I still miss loads of shots. I'm not always nuking people. Like, I'm missing a lot of shots. You gotta keep this in mind. Like, if you guys watch my streams, I have pretty much most of my battleships fully decked out into dispersion, and I miss salvos left and right. I overpen. I get weird shit happen, okay? Not every game is gonna be a barn burner. You know what I mean? So, let's just keep watching.
Very traditional battleship build here, all about precision, accuracy, dispersion, whatever you want.
Yep, it is a pretty traditional build.
So on the ship itself, I also just have
same build I would do.
Stock.
Yep.
Battleship build here. My battleship builds are the same as everybody else's battleship builds, pretty much.
Because it's the best build for a battleship. Battleships struggle without accuracy. They really do. They struggle the most. So I'm not saying you can't have a good game without an accuracy build. There's a lot of fun secondary ships out there, but they definitely struggle the most without the accuracy build for sure.
And only a subset of cruisers where I play differently than the majority of people. When it comes to battleships and destroyers, I play, well, the same meta builds that everybody else plays, which is kind of...
It's meta because, well, it's the most effective. Battleships struggle the most in terms of accuracy. And even if you get that accuracy, there's still a lot of RNG that plays a major role into how your shells perform. So, I get so many shots where I should nuke people, and yet the game's like, nope, overpens. I can't count how many times that's happened. It's ridiculous. I'm sure if you guys are long-term viewers of the channel, if you guys watch any of my live streams, if you guys watch any of my videos, you should know that battleships are not the most accurate ships in the game. They're far from it. Even with fully accurate, fully decked out accuracy builds, battleships still struggle a lot.
For battleships and destroyers, there's just really nothing else that really works as well. While on the other hand, agile cruisers, they work well, and they're different, and they give me something else to play. But yeah, battleships, well, dispersion is your friend, really. And destroyers, well, concealment is your friend, really. So it's kind of boring.
It depends on what destroyer you're playing. If you're playing a gunboat destroyer, concealment is still very important, but depends on the destroyer build you're running. If you're running a gunboat build, having some level of concealment, having some level of gunboat capabilities, having twist and track, obviously, yes. But yeah, he's pretty much right. Accuracy and dispersion, that's your friend in battleships 100% when the game allows you to actually get accurate salvos. The destroyers, obviously, the best thing about destroyers is their concealment. They can literally, if they want to, just go around the map, spot everything, and go around undetected and do pretty much what they want. So, yeah.
And it's actually a bit of a problem, I think, that...
and cruisers, obviously, well, they're the most accurate ships in the game, along with destroyers. They can set fires. They can... DPM people down. Cruisers have the best DPM in the game. So battleships that just sit around or move around and they shoot at these cruisers, a lot of the time what happens is either you'll nuke them, you'll get a couple penetrations, or you'll just completely miss or overpen. So battleships really need that extra accuracy. And even when you're, like I said, I've said it plenty of times already in this video, even when you do get that extra accuracy, you're still going to struggle to even, a lot of the time, do anything to these kiting cruisers that are going around burning everything down to the ground. I think the question we need to ask ourselves is not nerfing battleship accuracy, but really looking into other things. Not going to get into that yet.
I know Wargaming is trying to get some, some variety into the builds.
So basically, guys, what he's talking about is like variety in builds, different builds for people to mess around with, to get people off the meta, essentially. Wargaming's trying to release ships into the game that basically go off the meta, so maybe it might get you to try a different build, but at the end of the day, most of us come back to the meta builds because they're the most efficient. They're the best builds for competitive gameplay. At the end of the day, you guys got to remember, World of Warships Legends is a team play based competitive game. Your goal at the end of the day should be to win. Your goal at the end of the day should be to absolutely wreck people the best way possible, the most efficient way possible you can. That's the whole goal. So, yeah.
It really only works with cruisers. Their battleships and the destroyers, like I said, maybe two builds are good, and the rest is just not even worth bothering with because you're just gonna handicap yourself.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I consider it a bit of a misalignment in the balance of the game, really, because there's so many commanders with so many different skills, but really only one build makes sense. That's a shame.
Well, it is a shame, but it's the most effective because battleships struggle so much. You see, the reason why most people put accuracy and dispersion builds on their battleships these days, especially with American, especially with Japanese, British battleships, is because they struggle so badly without those builds. Okay? You got to keep in mind, battleships in this game get bullied by everything. Battleships get bullied by destroyers. They can get countered so easily by a good destroyer player. Battleships can get countered by a cruiser player so easily. Battleships can get countered by a carrier so easily. Okay, you got to remember, battleships struggle the most. They got the worst concealment. They're the biggest targets. They're easy to hit with torpedoes and main batteries. That battleships really do need that extra help in terms of accuracy. And if you're not able to basically hit the people who are spotted, that your teammates are spotting, you're not really that effective at all in a game. You need that extra accuracy. You need that extra shell grouping because If you don't have it, you're not going to be able to put any sort of impact in on the battle. You've got these giant-ass guns, but most of the time you can't do much with them because the game either won't allow you because of RNG, or because the game is like, well, yeah, we're just going to completely miss, or some shit. But there are sometimes those occasional lucky salvos where you will absolutely nuke people. It doesn't happen as much, but sometimes it does. Right? Every person's different. Sometimes you might get super lucky and absolutely smack the shit out of people, but that's just it. At the end of the day, battleships are all luck-based. They're all RNG-based. That's what battleships are. If Wargaming has it out for you, you're not going to be able to get anything done. RNG plays a huge part in how battleships perform. If RNG's not on your side in battleships, you're fucked. It's kind of the same thing, though, with cruisers and destroyers as well. Well, not really destroyers, but mainly cruisers. You do need a little bit of RNG to get those fires, but let's be real. If you got a 15 to 20-something% fire chance in a cruiser, you're sailing around going 30-plus knots, you're setting fires, mostly because, well, you got so much shells, eventually you're going to get a fire here and there, right? They're the most consistent, and they're the most consistent also in terms of damage per minute, DPM, right? Anyway, let's just keep watching.
I realize this game is not a role-playing game, but when you go through all the trouble of creating all these commanders with all their different skills and, you know, all the balancing and the thought that goes into that, why not, you know, take the last step and then, you know, tweak the game a little bit so those builds actually make sense. So
I don't get...
Secondary builds on battleships have never worked. Like, they're kind of fun and...
I mean, yeah, they're fun. That's what more... Secondaries, we all know, guys. Secondaries are, like, not the most efficient way of building your battleships. Even on, like, German... Like, a lot of... Well, the only ships in the game that, like, secondaries are sort of efficient with is German battleships and Italian battleships. Everything else, you probably shouldn't be going with secondary builds. You'll probably you'd be better off with accuracy builds, because just getting that extra accuracy occasionally and getting those shells on target is more valuable, okay? But even if you are able to actually get those accurate salvos, you still need RNG to be on your side to actually be able to do anything to people. Just saying.
Out of the ordinary.
Let's skip a little bit ahead. We're already 12 minutes into this video.
Actually, battleships has really gained in accuracy. Far less accurate.
Go back a little bit.
And, you know, make the battleships, for example, far less accurate. Actually, battleships has really in accuracy over the last 2 years.
So he's basically saying right now that battleships should be less accurate because they've been gaining in accuracy over the past few years, which is totally bullcrap. Recently, they just did a nerf to the artillery plotting room. It used to be 11 or 12%. Now it's 10%. Battleships have actually been getting quite nerfed. Will the Rebuild was recently nerfed. And which obviously deserved a nerf. Will the Rebuild, we all know Will the Rebuild is fucking dumb. But no, that's just not true. Battleships are completely they still struggle with accuracy even with all the buffs. Because at the end of the day, RNG affects battleships the most. They are still the least accurate class in the game, okay? Which is obviously for a balancing factor too. But man, RNG really does play a huge part in battleships and how they perform. Literally, it's like playing a slot machine. Every time you fire your guns, it's like rolling a slot machine. Every single time. So for him to say that battleships are the most accurate, or they've been getting accurate over the years, it's just not really that true. In fact, I think they've been getting worse. Lately, battleships for me have just been freaking horribly inaccurate. And even when they are accurate, I just get salvos where I just completely fucking whiff them somehow. Overpens are a thing, and shells falling short, and what have you. There's a lot of weird things that goes on with your salvos, with battleships. It's most noticeable. So, when you get the occasional, you know, drop shot over the mountain, through the woods, down the fucking hill we go, boom, you nuke somebody, that's the occasional salvo where you're like, holy crap, I finally got lucky, right? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to if the game's actually going to allow you to actually nuke these people, okay?
Guess back in the beginning, we didn't even have the spotter plane, but now we do, and we have plenty of commanders that,
Yeah, the spotter plane, in my opinion, doesn't even do a whole lot. It says it increases your shell grouping, but when I pop it, a lot of the time, I still get shots where I completely shotgun. Like, go watch some of my streams, I'll pop a spotter, and I'll fucking still get a shotgun salvo. Like, I have a fully decked out William Sims on my Iowa, for example. Level 16, Legendary 4. I've got all the accuracy stuff on that I can possibly put on. And I fucking pop my spotter, I take a shot, and I get the most shotgunny dispersion ever, okay? Just go back and watch one of my streams. Seriously, even some of my videos. Right? The videos you guys usually see on my channel in Battleships are like the nitpicked videos that I get during my time. Usually when I play Battleships, it's a fucking bad experience. Because a lot of the time, RNG is just constantly fucking me in the ass. Because my shit doesn't want to actually hit anything. Or when it does, I just get overpens. Or I get pens for little damage. Or sometimes I might get an occasional Citadel here and there. But I just don't dead strike people as much at all, like some people think. And I don't get laser beams like some people think all the time. It's not a thing. Battleships still struggle a lot. So yeah, it needs all the accuracy it can get, but even with all the accuracy buffs, it still
improves the accuracy.
Just
so perhaps
it doesn't help all that much, even when you get all those accuracy buffs. It's like, what?
The best interest of the community to whack the accuracy down on all battleships in the entire game. So it actually makes sense to make a dispersion build. Because these days, look at how precise my shots are. I mean, with this build here in Yami, I don't
see that salvo right there was actual dog shit. Like, you know, the only reason why Hipper right now is even able to get these shots on target is because, well, they're being stupid, number one. They're completely going broadside for him, which must be nice to have paid actors. Wink face. No, I'm just kidding. But, no, I mean, his team right here is all spotting for him. They're all sitting here, which is perfect. He's actually in a very good position. He's middle spawn in a Yamato, which is the best position to be in a Yamato. His destroyer has done pretty good up to this point. Both their destroyers or one of their destroyers is dead on that side. So it's the only reason why he's able to actually get these shots on target to begin with is because his team's actually not all dead within the first 5 minutes, like most games are going right now. And number two, even when he shoots at this guy, that's not a good accurate salvo. These days, look how precise my battleship salvos are. Or my shots are. You call that accurate, bro? Bro, that's how my salvos are like 90% of the time.
In Yami, I don't miss. I mean, sometimes I don't
80% of the time.
But you don't get those wonky, weird, crazy salvos that we did in the beginning, and you know the ones that.
What is he smoking?
Wonky, weird, crazy salvos.
Hold on, wait.
My shots are. I mean, with this build here in Yami, I don't miss. I mean, sometimes I don't get citadels, but you don't get those wonky, weird, crazy salvos that we did in the beginning.
You don't get those wonky, weird, crazy salvos you get in the beginning of the game. Basically is what he's saying. No, that's total bullshit. Yeah, you're going to hit people, but just because you hit people doesn't mean that that's a good thing. Even when you hit people, you should be able to nuke them. I mean, look at this. Awami at 13 kilometers. He's broadside to a Yamato. Look where those shells are going to land, guys.
My shots are.
One's going to land waterline. One's going to land right there above the Citadel. Should drop straight in there. Look how plunging. Look at the plunging fire shot right there. It's going straight up and whoop, it's coming down. You gotta keep in mind that's like a fucking 10-ton or that's like a ton freaking Toyota Prius going down to that fucking Citadel. And what does he get?
I mean,
2 pens. That's it. Just 2 pens. So you call that a good shot? 2 giant Yamato shells, biggest guns in the game. 2 penetrations for only 8.5k. That's not really that good of a shot. Like, he should have gotten citadels there. That should have been even better. But no. RNG was like, no citadels for you, just penetrations, buddy. And he says that's like the most he's getting accurate salvos. It's not accurate.
This build here in Yami, I don't miss.
You know, I'm not asking for all my shells to be touching. I'm just saying, like, when I get somebody that's making a mistake, I expect to punish them.
Sometimes I don't.
You should have been able to citadel him. He should have fucking died there. Like, damn, Hipper. I got respect for you, but, like, you think that salvo was actually pretty good. Like, how? You know what I mean? Like, I would expect more.
Citadels,
I would expect more.
You don't get those wonky, weird, crazy salvos that we did in the beginning. And you know, the ones that drive people mad. But when you don't get those salvos, like, you are kind of ruining the gameplay for other players. Like particularly cruisers, especially more standard cruisers. Because cruisers kind of rely on that wonky dispersion to stay alive, like this guy here.
That's true.
And, once that disappears, well, okay.
But you got to keep in mind, that's somebody making a clear mistake. That's a dude sitting flat broadside at 15 kilometers. He deserves to get citadeled. He's playing like a complete fucking idiot. He's broadside to you. He's broadside to all your other teammates. He deserves to get punished. That's not a matter of, oh, battleship's too accurate. No, that's a matter of hey, I'm actually fucking punishing somebody for making a mistake. You know, that Alaska should be moving around and getting into a proper position. That guy's just sitting broadside to the whole team. So he deserves to get fucking citadeled. It's not Battleships being overpowered. It's him getting punished for making a mistake.
Like the battleships just have a huge advantage then, and then
They don't have a huge advantage. The only time battleships have a huge advantage is when cruisers or destroyers or anybody for that matter. The only time battleships have a huge advantage is when, number one, you're getting spots, and number two, your shots are able to actually land where they need to and actually do decent damage, preferably 10 to plus K, right? Getting Citadel hits like you had there. You're in a great position, mainly because, well, this Alaska's playing like a complete idiot, and you were able to get a Citadel, right? Like, it all, at the end of the day, guys, it all comes down to RNG. Like, battleships right now, they're not too accurate. They're not even that accurate. They're just fine. There's nothing really that wrong with battleships. In fact, I think they even need a little bit of a freaking, I don't know, buff in accuracy, because they're just so wonky. But like he said a second ago, I do agree with, he said that battleships sometimes get those wonky salvos, and that's what keeps some cruisers alive. I agree. But if people like this are making obvious mistakes, they're just sailing broadside, not trying to dodge or turn, they deserve to get punished. But if it's a cruiser trying to actively dodge, trying to get into a position to hide behind an island, you know, turning in, turning out, yeah, he's playing well. I can understand him getting a little lucky, but it's even that. It's just, at the end of the day, guys, it's like, battleships are literally, they're not super busted. Like, they're not overly accurate, and they're not overly under accurate. They're just fine. There's nothing that needs to be done to change the way battleships are and how accurate they are. Like, they're just fine. And even I'm giving them a little bit of love there saying that. They do struggle a lot. Like, battleships can get countered so easily by everything, by cruisers, by destroyers, by carriers. It's not even funny. Battleships require team support. It requires spotting. If you don't have your team helping you, you're fucked. Literally, you're fucked.
I don't think that's right. And the same thing with destroyers. In the beginning, you know, it was more of a level playing field. And I guess destroyers have to contend with carriers
Citadel.
and a
But
button.
again, that Alaska was playing like a complete idiot. He deserved to get Citadel there. If you're playing that poorly, you deserve to get sent back to port. Because like I said earlier, this game's a competitive game. It's a team play game. And you should be punishing people who make mistakes.
Of radar cruisers these days, so I don't see it.
So all that was there was Hipper in a good position, able to actually get a very good shot on and actually do things. He's kind of lucky there. If that was me in my Yamato, I probably would have either just completely fell short, I would have hit him and got pens for no citadels. So
as much
he's gotten already more damage than me, what I would get.
But cruisers, I'm not going to say they're getting outplayed by battleships, but I think
They're
battleships have been buffed in general a lot more than cruisers have.
Yeah, they've been buffed
And,
in general a
I
lot
can
more because they
certainly feel
suck
that
so
because,
bad.
I mean, I didn't used to play battleships because I found them
Because they depend so much on RNG.
unreliable and annoying to play. But these days here, with like a full dispersion build like this, well, you can't miss, and you know, it makes it.
You can't miss? What is he talking about? You can't miss. I've missed so many salvos with my battleships, even when I aim properly, where they just all fall short, or they fucking turn and dodge perfectly, and they can just sit there and fucking burn me down, or whatever else. So that's completely false. Battleships still struggle, even with their fully decked out dispersion builds. Like, I don't want to hear it. I just don't.
So many people cry about battleships, especially on Facebook, saying, "Oh, I get set on fire. Oh, I get torped. Oh, I don't get enough XP." I was like, honestly, battleships are so easy to play now, and if you can't play them, well, you should probably think about playing a different game.
Nah, I don't agree with that whatsoever. The people that complain on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook very much at all because Facebook's a fucking weird place for weird people. No offense, but to be honest with you, no. People are frustrated because battleships struggle so much because of the RNG factor. When you shoot at people, a lot of the time you're either going to completely miss, you're going to pen them a couple times, or you might get occasional citadel, and if you're super lucky, you might even dev strike them off the map, which doesn't happen that much anymore. But what ends up happening is a lot of these cruisers, a lot of these destroyers are kiting around, burning you down, and there's nothing you can do about it because your shit's not working for you. Your so-called frickin' too accurate accuracy build is somehow missing. You're getting overpens and what have you at 15 plus kilometers. So, no. Battleships are not overpowered. They're not too accurate. They are just fine. And even that, I'm giving them a little bit of leeway there. They struggle a lot still because of the fact that, you got to remember, they require your teammates to spot for you. And it requires a lot of things to work out in your favor. They are super, super dependent on RNG. It's not even funny.
And then, especially if you've been playing this game from the beginning and have some good commanders, which I'm assuming you would have after 4 years, right?
Yep.
So the problem with buffing battleships is that if you're a good player in a battleship and you run a full dispersion build with like 16-4 commanders like I'm doing here, all of them are completely maxed. Like you're going to be able to do so much in this game here, and you know,
so much in this game here with a fully decked out dispersion build. I fucking wish.
Experienced gamers like getting 70+ win rates in solo battleships.
Did you just say experienced gamers getting a 70% win rate in solo battleships? Hipper, man, I don't know what you're smoking, but fuck me. 70% win rate solo in battleships? You're asking for a fucking miracle. Have you been playing Legends lately? The teams are fucking god-awful. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. Like I said, I got respect for Hipper. No fucking disrespect whatsoever. But this video, it just... I'm not going to go into it anymore. He basically goes on about how battleships are too accurate, or sometimes are laser beams, sometimes they're not. There's really not much else to say. No. This video's already gone on for 26 minutes.
Same with destroyers. There is no avoiding a battleship like this Yamato here. I can pick off ships at more than 20-kilometer range, and I have pinpoint accuracy.
Pinpoint accuracy! Wow! Wow, that's so pinpoint accuracy, guys. Look at that. Isn't that so pinpoint? Look at that. One shell's over here in fucking Narnia. One shell's over here in Timbuktu. One shell's over here in fucking South Africa, and one shell up here is over in fucking Greenland. You call that pinpoint fucking accuracy? What are you talking about? Like I said, I've got respect for Hipper.
And it's just ridiculous.
But I just strongly disagree with this video.
Like, a battleship should not be this accurate at these distances.
A battleship should not be this accurate at these distances. All that is like 1 or 2 Toyota Priuses entering the deck of that Conqueror and penning him and killing him. It's not being too accurate. It's just one shell veering off from this horrible fucking accuracy at that range. And this is a fully decked out dispersion build, by the way. What are you talking about, Hipper? Hipper, like I said, I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to go off here. But, you know, to basically, guys, to summarize it, battleships are not too accurate. In fact, I think they're the least accurate fucking class in the game. Okay? They are. If you play battleships long enough, you should know by now battleships are not the most accurate class in the game. They're not too accurate. Sometimes you can get lucky and get super laser beam accurate salvos, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, it's all fucking luck. It's all RNG. And that's all there is to it, okay? Hipper, I like most of your content, man. I'm going to keep watching your stuff, but I strongly disagree. This is just... whatever. It's whatever. But this is my comment, guys. I said, are battleships too accurate? Hell no. Battleships, even with fully decked out accuracy in dispersion builds, still struggle. Battleships get bullied by everything, and RNG affects battleships the most. True, 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 true. It's a hard knock life out there for battleships these days. RNG/luck plays a major role in the outcome of a battleship in a match. Okay? It's all RNG at the end of the day, regardless of the build. Oh, and not to mention, battleships require your team to spot and assist you. Right? Like we talked about. If you have no assistance, you're screwed. That simple. It's not a skill issue. It's a team play game. If the team don't team play, you can't accomplish anything. I stand by that comment. That's about it, guys. Like I said, I like Hipper. I like most of his stuff, but some of these videos where he's like saying battleships are too accurate, divisions have way too much of an impact on a game, which I'm not even going to get into because I've played with my friends in divisions all the time, and we still lose games because teammates are fucking dog shit, and our RNG is not very good, and we just can't accomplish anything. So, yeah, it's... Nah, battleships aren't too accurate, guys. It's that simple. But nonetheless, come over to Hipper's channel, leave him a like, leave him a subscription, I don't care. I left a dislike, just mainly because I strongly disagree with his opinion here. But if you guys agree with him, if you guys think battleships are too accurate, come on over, Give them a like. I don't care. No hate here from Dr. Ghost Games on this one, but nonetheless, everybody, yeah, that's going to be it for me. I hope you all have a great rest of your weeks, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out. Stay healthy, as always.